person learns Torah every day, there's creates an atmosphere in the house of Torah and Yiras Shamayim. Okay, so with this introduction, let's get straight into it.
What the rabbi is saying that every night we have a shiur here. You have to be here.
Thank you. So thank you so much.
Oh, but come here with a group.
Thank you, Sasson. Thank you. Okay, I get an email Thursday morning. It's like funny. I have no idea how I got onto someone's list, saying that there's a woman, Talia Avremi, a picture of her and her husband and her cute little baby, a beautiful from family, saying that finally Talia is so excited to announce that Rabbi Steinberg, a doctor in Shaarei Tzedek Hospital, confirmed that she's a woman, and that Moshe Weiss signed on to it. I didn't want to click on any of the things. I don't know if I'm fighting a virus in my phone or not, but it seemed interesting because we're talking about Bereishis Noach and about the Bria Vodem Rishon. So I asked my wife if she could, get me what's the story over here, the kid of the story. The thing is very simple. So I'm just telling you the story, a digest from different stories. It's the Balas Dover itself has a thing she writes on the Times of Israel. So just you can look it up yourself. Just Google Talia Avremi and you whatever. But it seems that she was born somewhere in a southern state in America, and again, just from what it seems from she was born and her gender was ambiguous. It was not clear if she's a Zophir or an Akeva.
What do you call it?
Ambiguous. It's
ambiguous.
It's they had the Avery Zachrus and Avery Nakvus. Androgynous. You're assuming that this is going to be the question. Is she androgynous? Is she Sophic androgynous? Are they not an androgynous? We're already jumping to the conclusion. Hey, you want to give it to Rabbi Kirschenberg? So what happened was, again, according to what she says, she says that the doctors in the South at that time had a shita that if you could declare had a bias, that if you have to choose a gender, choose it to be a zocher. Why not? So she grew up as a zocher.
What's that again?
She grew up as a boy.
Oh.
No, she was a boy. She was a boy.
When you became he? I mean, he was a boy.
Listen, that's just we want to finish the shit at 11 o'clock, not at so she grew up as a boy. Vayhi Hayoim, or not Vayhi Hayoim, over time, she felt that she doesn't identify so much as a male. She identifies as a female. Before I continue, I just want to say today's the shir is dedicated for my good friend, the Meir Chaim Mechayetzira. He was at Rov in Seagate in New York. We watched bris together. He's older than me. He's a cousin. And his Levi is at 2:00 today. Rabbi Brickman. Rabbi Brickman was a very, very special person. He always was with a smile on his face, even though he constantly was having surgeries on his brain. And he was someone that I trusted. Sometimes you need not a big poisek, but you need an adult in the house. Sometimes there's people that are big tamid chachamim, but whatever. It's sometimes certain shilas requires a shikul hadat of not only a talmid chacham but also someone who is a mature person. There's a family even in our shul that had Baruch Hashem, they pulled through, and the Bochrul is healthy and everything. But I asked them to ask for Rick if he would speak to the family, and he helped them tremendously, sign halacha and sign support, because he himself went through multiple times until the last time when it wasn't matzliach to krich harois. And the reason I'm also saying it now, because he's the type of person that if you say, what's the status of the transgender in Halacha, he very, very sensitive. He was a Rov that his expertise was in Hilchas Nida Taka. But in all these type of shilas, he had a Yad Vashem. And always, the last conversation we had a few months ago was about something also. And he was always took in account all kinds of questions that are, maybe from the 5th Shulchan Aruch or the 6th Shulchan Aruch. So this year should be Le'ilu Nishmasa. If you want to, Levi is going to be in front of 770 at 2:00. Okay.
Also, Nishmat, Rav Obadiah Yosef.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, what happens today? I'm just sharing my feeling before we start this year. What happens today is everyone and his brother-in-law is bipolar. Everyone and his brother-in-law is ADHD. Everyone and his brother-in-law is allergic to celiac. The emes is that there is 1% of the population that can't eat keto. There is a 0.5% of the population that needs to be on medication because they suffer from bipolar. Right. There are people that have ADD in a very acute way, and they need to deal with it. Every one of it. Yeah. I also, it was a difficult year. I couldn't pay attention. I was in the Cheder, I remember, I was looking at the ceiling. It was very hard to focus to what the Rebbe said. Back then it was a good snack. No, that's not. It's the same thing here. There is, Chazal say that there are people that unfortunately have a certain ambiguous status, which we'll talk soon. It's a machlokas Chazal. So there are people that taka deal with it. They deal with it, and it's not chas v'sholom hagelechte. And our opinion when it comes to Judaism should not be based on some Republican commentator who is a fire-breathing dragon somewhere on the radio. From Yidden, I don't know. Sometimes it's kiloops, like you're from Yidden, you're also Republican. I'm sorry that I'm ranting and raving. It's. We have to know what the Torah Kedosha says. The first thing is definitely that we're sensitive to every human being. The fact that Chazal talked so much about androgynous, even though it's not a usual case, you could see it in two ways. Number one, in a lomdish way, you could see it because at the perimeters is where you see the lomdus, at the perimeters of a sugya. But also, you could say, Pashat, Chazal were concerned about every Yid. The Yid should know what his status is. And if it's Echad Mini Alfei Alofim, it doesn't matter. He's a human being, and he has an Nefesh Elikis, or she has an Nefesh Elikis. And we have to figure out what's the status, and what is a person obligated to do, and what does he have the schus to do? Huh? Yes, exactly. So therefore, it's not for us to judge based on what the right says and what the left says. We have to go into the sugya, what the Gemara says and Yavamas, and what the Rambam says, and what the Rif says, and what the Shulchan Aruch says, and can move into what contemporary poets can think about this. Okay, anyway, back to the story of Talia Avremi. So at some point she realized that she identifies as a woman. She had surgery to fix up her goof, to be to affirm her gender as a woman, not as a man.
By the way, they can give birth?
No way.
No,
No way.
They don't change the recha.
Nah, they can't. No. They cannot do it. They cannot do it.
The child in the picture is not his.
Surrogate, that a surrogate mother. So what happened was that she had a surgery, and then she became a balas tshuva. She became a balas tshuva, and her husband also became a balas tshuva. She got married at some point, and he became a balas tshuva. He teaches now in Yeshiva University, and they both joined the shul over there, the Shank Shul in Washington Heights, Yeshiva University Shul. And she had a job here in Magen David Yeshiva.
Oh, but isn't this completely against halacha?
This is what we're going to talk about.
Right.
So
What
then,
what
she was a teacher, I think.
They,
7th grade something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
elementary.
Yeah,
Elementary school.
7th, 8th grade.
Doorman,
Could ask Talia Avremi, but it seems that she wasn't there for that long. And
How long ago was she there?
This happened recently. I'm talking about something that's
Yeah.
it's happening now.
Yeah.
So when the school from Magen David Yeshua found out, they kicked her out. And also in the shul, what happened was that the Rav of the shul asked Rav Herschel Schechter, the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva University, and that Rav Schechter said that no, it's not Pashat, that she's not a female, that she is perhaps an androgynous, and therefore, therefore, it's not clear if Rav Schechter said that she has to leave the shul or not, but it seems that that was
the problem of her being a kid.
what's the problem? The problem is
She got up to the downstairs. Where should
the problem is it's not so much a problem if she's sitting in the men and women's section.
Right.
It's not really the problem. The problem is if she is a man, is a man allowed to marry a man? It's a skila. Is a man allowed to marry a man? Besides that, a man allowed to marry a man? It's a serious shaila. That's less of a shaila because I mean it's a shaila. I'm saying this is
They could marry someone just like them, no?
this is what we want to talk about. That's why I said why should we judge based on hashoris? Let's learn a little bit ba'omek the sugya. Today, because of the sugya is a little complex, so besides bringing the main Rambams and the main Rishonim, I also added a copy of here of a shoot of Tzitz Eliezer, because everyone says, "Oh, the Tzitz Eliezer says." So let's read the Tzitz Eliezer. Give him the time of day to at least everyone says what he says. So let's read what he says.
I'm so sorry. I have to get going.
Okay,
But I take.
yeah, take.
You sure?
Yeah, Aaron, come on, you have gold status here.
Gold status.
Yeah. Okay, let's read. Rambam issues Perek Beis Halacha Chav Daled. Mishi Eshloi, the very broigis, she asked that the Shankshul should give her back her membership, which they did. And but the people in the shul are broigis. I don't know why they're broigis. I don't understand. I don't understand. If you belong to a community and you accepted a certain Rosh Yeshiva as a poisek, so when his piskedim, a moitzechem beinecha, he's a godel adoir, and if he's not moitzechem beinecha, then so I mean, so you want to always go with the Rabbi Weiss, go always with the Rabbi Weiss. I mean, whatever. I mean, but I don't understand what's the Vatihum Kolair. The Rav Schechter is a boki b'chol Torah kula. He's famous. He's a gon otzim, and it's not the shail of a misjudgment. He thinks based on the facts that he knows that this is an androgynous. So I don't understand. Anyway, huh?
Because it says in Sefer Sikha that in America, the one are the golus, the presidents of the shults.
Tshuva. Rambam issues Perek Beis Halacha Chav Daled. Mishi yesh lo eve zachrus ve'eve nakbus. V'nikra androgynous v'sofek. Im zocher sofek im zocher sofek im nekeva. Ve'en lo simen sheyavoda bo im hu zocher vada im hi nekeda vadois lo'olam. There's no way to know. Chol mi she'en lo zachrus v'lo nakbus. Ela otam hu. V'nikra tumtum v'gam hu sofek. So there's two types of people. One is androgynous, which has both evorim. He has the ever of a zocher and the ever of an akeva. And we say that this person the status is a suffix if he's zocher and akeva. And then there's a tumtum. Tumtum means you can't see what's going on. In those days, it was a little harder to do surgery. Today, it's easier. And if you open up, you can figure out.
Isn't it? I know the male body produces more of the male hormone. I'm feeling like, can you tell based on that?
We'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah,
So
talk about
chromosomes.
right the chromosomes. That's all chelik of the shaila. If you can look at it, the Rambam Surah Bia Perek Aleph Halacha Tezvav says Ech da bala zocher oya bala androgynous zerech zacharusay. A person that sleeps with a zocher or an androgynous in the way that a zocher would do mishkav zocher. It's chai min ba love derech nakvusay. But if he sleeps with him because the androgynous also has the aver of an akeva, so then it's potter. Van tumtum sofaku.
It's potter a lot.
Yeah. Potter means Potter of a loss or l'chayr. Yeah. Vatumtum sofaku. Vatumtum sofaku. Potter could also mean Potter mitzad zachrus. Also. Vatumtum sofaku lefikach haba ala tumtum oil androgynous. Derech nakvuse. Makanoisa makas mardus. Yeah, exactly what you said. He gets makas mardus. Androgynous muter lisa isha. Androgynous is allowed to marry a woman. It's very complicated. So the last three daf of Perika Oral. It's daf pei pei aleph pei beis pei gimel. Kesef Mishnah he writes like this. Sof Perika Oral and Yavama daf pei aleph nan. The Yosef Shimon Emre Androgynous kain shenis abas Yisrael machil v'truma. The Yosef Shimon said that if the husband's androgynous, so and he's a kohen, his wife eats truma. What does that mean? Androgynous noisa b'lo nisa. He's allowed to be a husband in a relationship. He's not allowed to be a woman in a relationship. In other words, the Rebbe Shimon hold that he's a man. He's a man. He is a man. And that's why he married a woman. He's a kohen. He gives a truma.
He can serve in the temple?
Huh?
He can serve in the Beit Mikdash?
We'll get to the end of the sugya. According to them, it sounds like yes. Yes. It sounds like yes. Rebbe Lezer Aimer, androgynous, they have a law of skila kezacher, that he's considered a zacher, legabe, mishkavi shchiva. Gemara da pegim alom Rav, less lamas nisim kame braisa. But Rav said that this Mishnah is not lalocha because there's a braisa. Tanya Rebbe Yossi Aimer, androgynous birya b'fnei atzmo. Androgynous is the Chazal said he's a birya b'fnei atzmo. It's the Chacham said he's a berya b'fnei atzmai. He's not a man, he's not a woman. Chacham couldn't be machri as a man or woman. They said he's a berya b'fnei atzmai. There's three genders. There's male, there's female, and there's androgynous. Now Tumtum is not that way. Tumtum happens to be me and you don't know. Me and you don't know. But if they have surgery, we would know. Androgynous Chachamim don't know, and they classified him as a third gender. Okay. Zog the Gemara, maybe we should push away the bris. In the Shafke, we see that in the bris it was Rabbi Yossi alone, and it's nicht poshut. Shmami no other be. Amri beirav aloch kele be Yosef androgynous. Rashi the masnissen koi. What's the aloch? It's not even clear what the aloch is. Berach verif kipshirushe. The Yosef the Braisa koi. Shaila is what's the halacha at the end of the Gemara? It's not clear. If we're going like the Mishnah of the Braisa, do we say he's a man or we say he's a berya b'fnei atzmai? Kos of Rashba, Rashba writes, a Rambam posag bechibure hagot lo bepirish Mishnah shloi. Kere b'yoysi the Braisa, the Omer berya b'fnei atzmai hu, ulefikach eine machel betruma lefishu sofek, v'sofek di isur elechumra. He says no, he's not male, he's not female, it's a sofek, and therefore, if he gets married, he can't give his wife truma. Posa kerebelezer amar chavalov skila kezach. On the other hand, you pass him like kerebelezer that you chayiv skila kezach. So is there zacher or is there safek? I'm confused. Zog the Rashba v'loyas daiti.
Like a zocher, which situation?
Yeah. Is in the one hand, you chayiv if sleeping with him, it's considered like sleeping with a zacher.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if he marries in a cave, he can't give her truma. So the Rashba says, I'm confused how the Rashba ended up learning the sugya.
So this person has a
One second. We'll talk about a second. Shemu served after Belezer the Sov the Berry Bifnei Atzmuhu. Elish Chayav Nolav Skila Kezocher Mixeris also of the Ksiv Ezocher Loisishkav Mishka Veisha. He says that really the Rambam paskins at the end like the Brais, but he also paskins like the Mishnah. A funny thing. When in that he's a berya b'fnei atzmai, but because the Torah said that Lagabe sleeping with him, he's considered a zocher. So we look Lagabe marital relations, he's a zocher. So if someone sleeps with him, that's considered sleeping with a zocher. And if he wants to marry a woman, he could marry a woman. Noise v'loy nisa. So even though the Pashto reading of the Gemara is either you go with the Mishnah or you go with the bris, the Rambam had this cake and he ate it too. He said that we're passing like the Stam Mishnah, we're passing like the Stam bris, and everything goes good. So bottom line is that the Rambam holds, and you'll soon see soon that it seems like the Shulchan Aruch passing is like the Rambam. So Bazay will go like the Rambam. That androgynous is a berya b'fnei atzmai. There's male, there's female, there's androgynous. But when it comes to marriage, then he's considered a zocher. Why? Because the Torah said was mechadish and apostle. The way the Chazal understand that he's considered a zocher l'gabe shchiva. So if someone sleeps with him, he gets skila. So he could marry a woman. And by extension, you would say l'gabe all marital things, l'gabe yichud, maybe l'gabe where should he sit in the men's or the women's section. L'gabe marriage, he's considered a man. So probably should sit in the ezes anoshim. The whole thing of yichud is because it's a man and a woman. You're l'gabe shchiva, you're looking at him mamish like a man, according to the Rambam. Read quickly the Maggid. Mishnah Hokas Tamas Nissen that Hossam, the Tony androgynous noise of Alainisa Vadas Raven Afal Bishu Sofif Kedusha Sok Mashaniska Perigal Michels Kedusha Afal Kay Noise Lachatchila. Afal Bishain Isha and Sas Isha androgynous noise who Isha. Even though a woman is not allowed to marry a woman, androgynous is married. Because in the Rachmona,
That's why it's logical that it should be, it's okay.
Still, but why did the Rabbanon say? But the Rabbanon said the Lachatchila, and not but the ovel. That's a whole shak of time in the Gemara. The Gemara says of Shat in the Gemara, noise Lachatchila is allowed to get married. So why? Maybe it's Mitzvah Sofik. Why? So why would they make him? Lachatchila to go tell him to get married.
The whole union of two women is with Rabbanon, but not.
But that's, I hear what you're saying, but that's not what the Maggid Mishnah answers. I hear your question. Say it's a sofek, I'm a makel. I don't know. And maybe the MS.
Exactly on that. Women to woman. It's not
Right.
a woman, it's just,
Right.
it's different.
So it's like aliba de emes. It's aliba de emes. The Chazal are telling you aliba de emes. Okay. The Rambam says in the Cheshofa, "Kol mish ein chai b'davar ein moitzes chai v'sidei chavasa." Lefikach isha kotten shetoko b'shofa Hashem em lo yotza. A woman is not chai b'shofa. If she blows for the man, he's not yotza. And the androgynous moitzes mini ve'eini moitzes she'eini mini. Androgynous can blow for another androgynous. Tumtum eini moitzes lo yis mini v'lo she'eini mini. Tumtum shenikr efshe shemotza zocher ve'efshe shemotza nekeva. If there's two people, two tumtums in the room, and one tumtum can't blow for the other tumtum because maybe one is male and one is female. So how could the male blow for the? I'm sorry, maybe the one who's blowing is female. How could he blow for the male? But if they're both androgynous, because they're berya b'fnei atzmai, one can be moitz the other. The Rabbit says, "Oh, das mishayme androgynous berya b'fnei atzmai." Aval mishayme chetzi zocher who that he's half a zocher, half an akeva. Any moitz lois mina v'lo she'ena mina. Okay, misha chetzi evid v'chetzi ben chorin, which is very complicated. He can't be moitz anyone else. Okay. Shulchan Aruch is Siman Tov Kuf Peiches. The Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, Mishnah Berurah unequivocally goes like the Rambam, that when it comes to blowing shofar, a tumtum can't blow for another tumtum, androgynous could blow for another androgynous. So if I have to be masaker, let's say like this, that the Rambam paskins that a tumtum is a berya b'fnei atzmai. I'm sorry, androgynous. Tumtum is a suffix to me and you. Androgynous is a topic of Chazal. So androgynous is there's male, there's female, there's androgynous. But legabe, the union of shechiva, he's considered male. Legabe shechiva is a male, so therefore a person is sheichim with him is sheichim zochar. He can get married. But he can only be the husband in the relationship. He cannot be the woman in the relationship. He could be the man of the house. He can't be the woman of the house.
Miss, and then this is going for a little bit of a tangent, but Kabbalah, this is a punishment for the comment like this?
I don't know. The Zichar, there's Tikkunim and the Gilgulim, but I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Maybe she's not okay. Maybe she go with the.
Okay, so in the article they say that Dr. Steinberg said by reviewing her case, he wasn't around, and she had a surgery somewhere in the south. Reviewing his case, but she says they found in her body remnants of fallopian tubes and another few in volume pneumium from a isha.
What's a chromosome?
They didn't say that in any of the articles about her chromosome, but they did say they found a vodim pnimium shalisha. So then you would have to say that Chazal take that in consideration.
Because the Rambam
Very
says there is
correct.
no way how to figure it out.
Right.
But if there is a way,
So they say the problem is that she is not publishing a real tshuva from Dr. Steinberg or from Rebbe Weiss. Just she says that he wrote, and she's quoting a few paragraphs, but he says that he reviewed the case, and she's not an androgynous. She's a Suffolk androgynous.
Trust the doctor so you can check her out.
No, you can't check anymore. You can't check anymore. Now you can check. She had a surgery sometime a couple of years ago. She had a surgery. Now she looks totally like a woman. So you have to review her medical records. You can't to say that you want to check the internal organs. That means you have to have the opinion that the internal organs make a difference. But I would say probably api halacha, the internal organs means zero.
Well, why do you think it was really zero? If you're isn't that relying on?
I said if someone would think internal organs mean something, so then they could look at it now. I think that the internal organs mean zero.
Yeah, so that's you personally. Why do you think that?
Why? Because Chazal don't leave any room for it. Chazal never mentioned about bedika from evarim pnimium.
Well, in their
Because
time,
maybe
because
it was
it made
impossible.
the corpus that we can do today. But we see that they could have done it. I think they would have done it.
when the Rambam says
Okay,
there is no
so then
way,
you could still
there is
check.
no way.
Huh?
When the Rambam says there is no way, there is no way, because the same way that they found leftovers of those parts, maybe there is something else that shows you the other way.
Oh. Okay,
So it's only external what you see, not what's inside the body.
that's what I would say. You see, someone says differently.
Very sad.
That so the in the psak that's being published is that Dr. Steinberg, and if it's true, said that she's only a Suffolk androgynous, which I'm not sure what that means. You are an androgynous, you're not an androgynous. And what does it help to be a Suffolk androgynous? What, it's a svek? I don't understand.
The female is English. What's the other part?
Exactly. It's
What if she's only half that? What's the other half?
right. That's what I'm saying. If you're saying she's a Suffolk androgynous, so you're saying the truth is
The word androgynous in andro means penis means woman. So who says that at what percentage the Chachamim said there is a suffix or not? Androgynous means that part of this, part of that. What part of this? 99.9 or 51?
right.
They didn't
So
say.
if you think that that bedikas pnim is important, and by her there was only in her goof there was only things of remnants of ivorim pnimium of a woman, so she's a woman. Okay, let's read a tshuva from Tzitz Eliezer. Everyone that's talking about this story is talking about this tshuva from Tzitz Eliezer.
That's what you're the clone is on also.
Yeah, this is where everyone talks about here.
Who is he?
The Tzitz Eliezer is Rebbe Eliezer Waldenberg. Did you know? Did you ever meet him? He passed away a few years ago. He's a Yid in Yerushalayim. Right. So it's like let me show you where we're holding. He wrote tremendous amounts. Here is his tshuva. He wrote a tremendous amount. Okay, here is the beginning of the tshuva. I just to keep it easy, so I didn't quote the beginning of the tshuva, but basically, a doctor is writing to him that there was a girl that was born. A baby was born, and the baby had Avrei Nakvus. It looked like a female, but there was one testicle attached there. So the shaila is what to do. I'm just going to start from here, the top. He said maybe it would be better to make it to cut off the testicle and make it into an akeva. He says, the doctor's writing, I'm aware that by cutting off the testicle, so then, and you're declaring and affirming that this baby is going to be female, you're taking away from them the chiv of mitzvahs, because androgynous is chiv of mitzvahs mesafik.
The doctor was from, was Jewish. The doctor.
You know what? I'm sorry. We started reading in the middle of the tshuva. I stapled it the wrong way. Turn the other page. Reish Vav. I'm sorry. You're already middle of deep in the tshuva. I'm sorry. Look at turn the other side. The sikum. Meduber beyelut shemepchinas litzonis nida kenekeva ach lamaisa hine zacher. Mepchinas nituchit. The doctor is writing like this. If you should ask medically, Kal yois lashanois lenakeva. It's much easier to change the baby to become female. The baby will never be able to biologically have children. Also, psychologically, it would be better for the baby to. By the way, it's a tremendous ethical question that it's not being discussed in this tshuva. Should the parents determine, or the baby should be allowed to live this way and then determine themselves? The prevalent things for many years, and I think even till today, is that doctors encourage parents to make decisions when the baby is young because they feel that will be better. But anyway, that's a separate child. Anyway, the doctor says he thinks psychologically it'd be better for the child to grow up as female. To turn the baby into male, it'll be much more complicated. גם מבחינת אישית, כמובן לא יהיה זוכר לכל דבר, כדי שיבוא זה יהיה נקבי, יש צורך לנתח, ולהכרס את אשך היוכל הקיים כדי למנוע פעילוס hormonal zocha. He says the only way to make this baby grow up as a female is to cut off that testicle. Why? Because if you leave the testicle there, then the baby's going to grow up and the baby's going to have a beard. And she's going to learn in Beis Yaakov and she'll come to school with a beard. So it doesn't work. So Shailosi he in Bachlal muter lahapach as mina yilos shemchinas genetit in a zocher lanakeva. Also they checked the chromosomes and that's the part of the tshuva. I'm sorry, I didn't make the copies of that. They did a check. Oh yeah. They did a test, a genetic test, and the chromosomes of the baby showed that the baby was really male. Oh, shkach gadol. Okay. I just wanted the pack to be like paper should be a little smaller. The chromosome of X and Y, which are the sex determining chromosome, and the bedikut helu toy zocher. Yeah, XY. Zocher. Hayilad nuta gebutze betichas beten sikartit, weil nimmt so every min pnimim. Kemoike nilkche biopsy, magush besof chetzonis nere kemoy eshech, nimmt so kigush ochen hine eshech. So when they checked the chromosomes, it's XY. Estes that the child is a zocher. On the other hand, when they did a biopsy on this thing that looked like Aver Zochor, so it was confirmed to be a testicle. So that was so now the doctor's asking, the doctor saying he would recommend the family turn the baby into a girl. The Shailosi number one in now you can read in your page. You look at page Reish Vav. Look at page Reish Vav. האם מותר במקרה של לפנינו להכניס את האשך, היוכל ולהפך לנקבה, ילד שמבחינה חיצונית היא כבר נראית כנקבה. מאוד אשמח לקבל חוות דעת ההלכתית בשעה לזו, עשה מברוכי, Dr. Schusheim. Okay. Okay, so now here what so you see the thing is a lot of times in Shilas you have to hear the whole Shilah. Right. So the Tzitz Eliezer is going to say it's 100% a girl, but you have to realize that the doctor already in a Shilah that to affirm this child as a zocher would be very, very complicated, very expensive. You need a lot of surgeries. And to make this baby into an akeva, all you have to have is one little surgery. So he's like pushing, he's asking, could you please, could you please allow to affirm it as a female? Yeah. So the Tzitz Eliezer is going to try to, go with it.
It's fine. It makes you realize that when you have a birth, there's a regular healthy child, and then a bracha.
Exactly.
They still have today,
Yeah, sure.
For the outcome that if somebody wants to get. When you learn Torah, you're supposed to go to.
I know, but sometimes you have to hear what someone's saying,
That's one part of it. That's like everything else.
So he says that the XY is an eye for a zocher. He's saying it's oh, and androgynous is usually XXY. No, he said this baby was an XY.
Right.
So
Not that it makes a difference. I love anyway.
so okay, so that's no, but if you believe if you believe what Aaron says that that Chazal would look at the Evonim Pnimim, then Tzitz Eliezer is going to say no. Evonim Pnimim means zero. Lefi daiti suga yutzer anayla chalav musaf shalaseinu gam ilu yashida is kfim shuhu yedina kenakeva. If you're doing zero surgery, in my opinion, this baby is in a cave. It's only loy mashloy lo vafila din androgenes. Kisimon androgenes kfiyam is bar besugis hashaz biavomes taf pei beis pei gimel, which is the sugya is an end of oral taf pei aleph pei beis pei gimel. Chem Yerushalmi beis makemes u'sheyesh li b'metzias eve zachrus ve'eve nakas. Chem pasuk aram mafurish perik beis melchus v'shus chav halacha v'da'ala v'zalasheni. Mishlei eve zachrus ve'eve nakas on ikran androgenes u'safik zacher safik in the cave. Ein loy Simon Shivada be Muzach about them in the cave of the Sloil Matkel Shiner. That's a poskim Achedim Muschalav Bisimon of Chadosh, Pam Efia by Simon Zachras, Pam Simonakos, Ein Archem Sim Takel Pektes, the Mogram by rate of you in Sean. That's a funny thing, I know. Kanira Higam Shita de Huya, I'm a Sefer Piskalokas Aramam Sham. Va Yila Denan, if you should hear this Mochtover Elamaisa, Vorim Minim, Hachitzonim, Nidim Etzli Ketzel Nakeva. Vein lo shum simen chitzonim evrei zachers. Rak abedikas. He wants to start right away saying like this: the fact that he doesn't have an aver, just one beitza, means nothing.
And it's inside also. You can't even see it.
So that's what he wants to say. He wants to say that beyois the Rambam said when the Rambam said misheyesh aver zachrus, it means an aver, and this baby it's not an aver. It's only an esher, not an aver. That's the first thing he wants to say right away. But you'll dank for Tira is Machtab, and I say, what am I meaning? That's the gates on the cave. Huh? Beitza. Virak, so that's what he wants to say. The Rambam said there has to be an Avid. And this was, they did a biopsy and they found it's not an Avid. You can argue with it. Say, well, how do you know it's a Beya, not an Avid? It's because you did a biopsy. So he wants Veraka bedikim yecheda shabutza boy herav kisimonu pnimis gufi toizocher. Lachein ladaitu keniske shagam im nanichu kfi shehu dina yekidina keva kevarim achetzonim manirim laim hu akevea ba'aloch. He says, in my opinion, what you look is devarim chitzonim. You're saying differently, but that's what he's saying.
You said the same thing before.
That's like that, I would say, because I read the truth. I'm influenced by it. No, but it's also you learn the Rambam every year. You read it. That's the way. It's a kumtois. If you don't think any. V'agav shemaiti meroife shesuga harmonim amushutaf miyishel ma'asel zochel nakev v'gam yacher v'kem b'ziberei b'achuzim l'chem boru shagam evorim amoshim achitzonim amushunim zochel nakev v'hem akev l'ma'asel. He says, anyway, I heard from a doctor that's not so simple, the hormones, and that the male could have a little bit of female, and female could have a little bit of male, and it's only what's a little more goiver, so it's hard to know. So don't talk to me about the fact that the chromosome is XY. He's saying, das ist nicht geraya. Yes, kein ihre Lifshit, benin nashai, l'shemuter efel anateach yelad zel, afche, deken l'nekeve, gam bepnimis et patruse. Because they found one testicle that's a zocher. So shaila is in mutter lichreis eshach hayochim ze klimdoya they can pilus hormonious zocher shetafil is patchus shel nekeva ve'lo yaver but at least serious. So now say they have an agenda. They want to turn this baby and affirm it to be a girl. And the problem is that the surgery is a shaila of sirus. Lachri, you need a,
What does that mean?
you're not allowed to cut off the aver of a zocher.
Castration.
Yeah, it's castrating him. You're really castrating the baby. Lachri, you need it. Mutter lasses es. V'lo yabral isu sirus klal. V'zos mishnei bechinas. Achar so b'yoyis ve'en loy every zachar chutz megush zeh b'tzuris eshach. Ken in mesug zocher klal okenis klal. Number one, it's a girl. Okay. It's not poshet to say she's a girl because as I'll tell you, he himself brings in a second. There's a moedik Sam Sofer. Sam Sofer has a chidush. He says there's a sugi which is called chamira. I love that expression. There's a sugi which is called chamira, which is yeah, exactly. It's
What?
called chamira. It's chomur. It's chomur, and he has a long tshuva. And the nikud of his chidush is that when the Torah says you're not allowed to cut off the ivorim, it's not if the person is male or female. The shaila is if the avid is he says if Bezna God will come, Elionov will come and say that androgynous is a woman. Mashiach came, Bezna gekommen, Elionov gekommen. Even the Torah Lev Shemayim probably means that they affirmed that what he said was true. They decided, no, there isn't three genders. There's only two genders, male and female. Androgynous is female. But the androgynous has an avid. You're not allowed to cut it off. Why? Because it's not about the person that owns the avid that determines. It's the avid itself. The Torah says that by a male, it's also the Raisa, by a female, that's also the Rabbanah. So if you go with the Tshuva, the Sam Sofer, the fact that she's a female doesn't help you that much because he holds. It doesn't matter whose body it's attached to. He says it's the avid itself.
It's the Darabana.
No, he said the Raisa if it's a male because
Yeah, because the female.
the avid of a female, which would be Mesaris, is Issa the Rabbanah. But the male avid attached, even if it was attached to a woman, would be Issa the Raisa. Because he says that's his chiddush. And it wasn't. It's not if it's the avid. It's in the avid. It's not in the person.
But there has to be an able. A serious means that now is able to do more live.
Right. So that you could say.
Cut something.
That at that point you're right.
If you don't stop nothing.
Right. That you could say that a beitza without a gid can't be moiled. That you could say, even though in modern medicine it's shaykh.
Somebody would have an accident.
So it's nicht as a portion. Nicht as a portion. So Hashem is the second thing is Gamba Drogenes Mamash Matzino La Minchas Chinuch B'mitzvah Reish Tadekala Shehelad L'Shitas Rambam Barif. If the Eine Roy Lohoilad Eine Chayev Asirusei, he holds that someone who's not Roy Lohoilad, that the Isser is only if this Ava could be Moilad. But if this Ava can't be Moilad according to the Minchas Chinuch, you're not Chayev. The Efshesh Av Sirus Enka. There's a svara that he says he thinks the minchas chinuch. Remember, it's not a rishon. The minchas chinuch thinks a chidush gadol that when the Torah says you're not allowed to cut off, you're not allowed to castrate, it's the type of aver that could have a baby. But if you know for sure that this aver cannot have a baby, cannot reproduce, so then minat Torah it's mutter, and maybe even with the Rabbon it's mutter to cut it off.
How do you know this?
How is minchas chinuch?
How do you know this? Because
how would you know it? Oh, well.
What's inside, even if you could make an operation and check, is considered like we can know. So,
I don't know. I don't know. Is this is he's going with the Metzias. You have to look it up what the Metzias is. That an androgynous can't be moiled yilod.
No, it's XXY. So again,
It's never going to be. It's impossible to be moiled yilod.
That's the deal. That's why. So you either female or male.
Yeah, it's not shaykh to be moiled yilod.
So the down child can't have a kid either.
Because
the extra chromosome that's not going to attach to the female.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the things like action that cut not doctor that are anything inside.
Right.
Produce anything.
Right. Problem is, in this case, it was not an XXY, it was XY.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, but he says no, because Verake moilet sfira loy shall sidu simoni zachres loike val simoni nakvos eine loike. Has to be moilet. Oidle lach some sefer beze gam simon yuzain shemevade shom nami mechich afut paskinen da viele mesares ach mesares loike. Aber heine darf geschnem nas with the odem. Ali mas khola hoyse with the shamayim shuve nisur b'maise odem klal. So kilo over here the fact it can't be moiled is midei shamayim. And now Agam shematzina b'shut beis Yitzchak shkoytz v'lachlik lach some sefer beich shenas asoris lach shenel afilu b'dei shamayim. Koma kamoid mi is be'edya b'siris chama shenel b'meimei em b'shmesares vodim be'alka shenel tshokar ein sham achen el gam b'shut chumtzelas ashor v'talum aslev im kein dum mikol ha'omer mikol shken alach tzkam v'kam shevavad ein kol yisur siris al tagon nidoineinu b'krisis gus she'eshach v'yoyz v'ein eroi loylet klal klal bein la'afila eber amini adorish l'shem kan. He's saying the bottom line is, and the last line is probably the strongest line. He says that there is no aver. So it's not if there was an aver, and then one person cut it, and the other person's, then it's yesh sidus achas. But to begin with, there's no aver. Okay. Lamana shleimus asakim ve'oimer. Shegam lu yiyeh lo hoya lo liyulat zeh din androgenes. Vegam im ta'amod lefneina abayu shal androgenes mamish. Vishaher libe beis choylem lefekam shonim. Shnoilad yeled indeed v'gam im safo tu shvil v'dibru gamoz al bitzu netuch begufay. He says I was in the hospital in Shaarei Tzedek, and they showed me a baby that had mamish both a true androgynous. They had mamish a gid, and which is a aver of zachrus and the aver of nakvus 100%. Shegam ken you mutal anatchel hafa l'sug vaday b'yoyis l'kobelas halacha she'enim moilet takem b'madar refuah. V'omnum oz mutav yoslan natech evra nakvus l'hafchel l'zocher. They lots of gami the day shamoilet. It was bar with the bishut chasam seifus in chavsham. There is an opinion in halacha that says that the baby could be moilet. Now, even though he says, according to the Madar Refui that we have today, an androgynous cannot be moilet. So he says the better thing would be if you had mamish or real androgynous to try to turn them into, to try to turn the baby into male. Male would be a better choice. Turn the page back to the novel. And I'm the androgynous. Yes, the bio like a fitness efforts. We must show them a man a day after the cave commits to schreiben himself again. Gezoch, no born for the brides and pregnant. Terada the Kollel beram belchoisel. Aber lieber Shema ein lesser. ויועיס ומציוס של משתנה, כי אין שמצינו בטומטם שנקרא, שמשתנה את גוף ומשתנה גם דינוי. מפרק שמבצם זה בקטנוסה, בטרם שמסחי ועד בכלל מצווס. רק צריכים קביע בדקדוק הסברורי מומנו מדי ביצוע ניתוח, שיבצם הדרג נשתמה ויהופך ואמס לנקה ובדוס, מה שגם שהרמב"ם הריקוב על הלוכה, שמוס של הדרג יוכל לקו ובדוס לא אלו, ולכן יש לחזר היטב כדי לבודה, אם העיד כדי כך משתנה כעיס הטבע או התפתחות הידע הרפואי. Okay. Here is the explosive thing that everyone's talked about today in this case. He's saying like this. He's saying in the case that you asked me, I think it's a really in a cave, there's no question. Okay, so there's no question. He says, there was a baby that has a real two evonim, Evrei Nakvus, Evrei Zachrus. Says preferably is you can make it into a male, that's the best. You can make it. Even if you turn it into a male, he can marry female. So what's going to be the problem? Pitos will join a minion, only Shofar. So maybe you should whisper in his ear when he turns bar mitzvah to tell him that he could take any job, but it shouldn't be about Tekeya.
And if there is 9 people, he should move away so people don't think that he considering for the meeting.
Yeah, that's something that I bought on maybe get that showing. But the shofar is deraisa. Now here's his big thing. He thinks that if you make it a male or female, it's not androgynous anymore. Now it became Alpi Elamai. He's saying that l'choda is if now it was chayv mitzvahs, and if you're going to make it a female, become potem and a mitzvahs. So because it's before bar bas mitzvah, it's not so bad. But he didn't hit yet. I don't know. To me, okay, not to me. That's that. So Rabbi Schechter said that this silly as it doesn't make sense to him. It doesn't make sense to anyone that's reading it. I don't understand. The Torah debate. It's not. He's comparing it to a tumtum. How can you compare it to a tumtum? Tumtum l'chatchila. The Gemara says that it's a suffix to me and you. And the Gemara says that there was an Amoira that took a tumtum and he was able to cut it open, and then he had 7 babies. So in other words, he was really a male. He was shaykh to have babies. But androgynous, he opened up the tumtum and he turned into male, and he had 7 children afterwards. It was metumtum, and one of the Amoraim took a knife and whatever, opened it up, and he did a surgery in it. And he turned him into a Zochor, and he had 7 children. That's a tumtum. But androgynous,